Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 18 of the weekly Controversies. That's right, we are 18 deep. There's no going back now. We are 18 deep, and he's back. He has his LA Night glasses. There's a copyright infringement coming his way. It is, of course, the not so golden one, Robert Gold. Rob, how are you this week?
I am absolutely fantastic tonight. Really looking forward to this one because obviously we're going to be talking about Backlash, and I'm really excited for this one. Cannot wait.
And also joining us are not so much of a guest anymore, more of a frequent flyer. It is the only Rangers fan that you'll see a Celtic fan talk to. Goldberg himself. No, not that Goldberg. Mark Goldberg. Mark, welcome once again to the weekly Controversies.
I can't believe you're not sick of me by now. You guys know how
No,
much I love
not
this.
yet. Hasn't happened. The other lad is off
Sweet.
playing football. That's all he tells us.
Yeah, let's just wait till we're talking football regularly. But to be fair, the way things are going for me this season, I'm sure you'd want me on that show.
Listen, I'm all about controversy, mate. For those of you wondering, looking around the cameras, looking to see who's missing, that's right, our resident mouth of the south, J.O. Jamie Brown, is not here this week. He is unfortunately under the weather, as there is something going around this side of the city. I don't know what. I think it's bullshit-itis, but that's just my opinion on it. But this week we're going to jump into Backlash, which is probably host to the hottest crowd I've ever seen in my life, followed by some King of the Ring predictions and some wrestling news. But first, we're going to jump into Backlash, and I'm going to hand over to Mr. Robert Gold. Rob, take us away.
This one was unbelievable. The crowd from start to finish, not just Backlash, but SmackDown the night before as well, was on fire. Like, I mean, it was like, if that building is still there, I will be very surprised. Rafters were shook.
If we have any French followers, if anyone can translate that song as we're singing at Backlash, please let us know, because it's living rent-free in my head. Rent-free in my head. There's a video going around. If you haven't seen it, look it up. I think it's on WWE's YouTube, of the camera shaking at how noisy the fans were. But that's how noisy they were. The roof may as well have been off that. What was it, 20,000 fans? Something like that, in around that.
Could have fooled me. Yeah, there's 4 words to describe that show. And they are...
Are you going to spell it out for us?
Vraiment phénoménal. And Tony, it means he really is phenomenal. Fair play. That is the most over AJ Styles has been since his debut back in the Royal Rumble.
Mark, something was up with your sound. It's distorted.
Right.
It's Bo Dallas coming through.
Folks, we're not part of the review. There will be no QR codes here tonight. And if there is, please don't follow them, because God knows what's on the other end. So Mark is fixing his... Oh, he's back. Are you working? You back?
Yeah, I'll be plugged in a wee sec. I was just trying to say, il est vraiment phénoménal. That is the word.
He was phenomenal. And I said it. Everyone questioned why AJ was picked to be Cody Rhodes' first opponent. Look at that match at Backlash, and that is why. Because at 40-odd years of age, that man can still out-wrestle the 20-year-olds going around and doing it for a living. Because he is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the last time we see those two in the ring.
If you didn't hear, might have just been when I was being taken over by Bo Dallas and the Wyatt family, etc. I was saying that the show can be described in those 4 words: il est vraiment phenomenal, which does translate to he really is phenomenal. It's the most over AJ Styles will have been since his entrance at the Royal Rumble on his debut, very probably. But you know what? Like, I hope that follows him around the world. Next time he goes to Quebec in Canada, I hope the French speakers sing it there too. Like, well done. Fair fucks to the French. I was not expecting that.
Oh my God, hats off to the French.
Yeah.
Hats off. And I don't know if any of us follow any of the American wrestling content creators that will do live reactions and stuff, like Weezy Blonde and Santi Zap. They were all viewing it, and they were like, they're definitely a soccer crowd. And I couldn't agree more with them, because that is the atmosphere you will get going to a football. Go fuck yourself, USA. A football game. That's just how I built. You go to anywhere in England and have that, you'll have that same feel. hopefully Scotland doesn't disappoint them at that same field, especially if Drew's Ranger fans are in.
I think what
Oh
sort
no,
of differentiates.
is Drew going to miss Clash now with his broken elbow?
Oh, that better be a work. Do not derail
I
this.
said Rhea Ripley wasn't working, and none of you believe me. Rhea Ripley is walking around with nothing on any of her arms. She's not injured. It's a fucking walk to push Liv as a heel, and I'm out an apology, and I want one.
We'll get on to Drew.
Uh,
All I'll say, Rob hasn't seen it yet, but on Raw, when Punk hit that promo afterwards, I don't know if you heard what CM Punk shouted down the microphone.
I
But if you
watched it, but if Rob hasn't, I don't want to spoil it on him. I'd rather he see it, and
Fair.
then we can.
put it this way, if it's a work, you'd be fit for Clash.
I can't see why
Listen,
it would be fit for Clash.
The single tickets for Clash go on sale tomorrow. If they are cheap, I will have Clash tickets.
See you there,
That's
Tony.
very true.
See you there.
And I think that's
Because I can handle my drink, so I'm well able to drink with the Scots.
what...
Get me a kilt, I'll leave him wear a kilt.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. Weekly Controversies.
So, moving swiftly on before we lose. Otherwise, we're going to jump into Backlash and give our thoughts on the matches that happened during the three extra hours that happened.
Yeah.
I think we 5 matches in total, I think. Was it 5?
Just a 5, yep. 5.
And see if my memory is good. The first match was the Bloodline versus RKO. Yes, we can officially call them RKO because that's their tag team name. Yes. Get the t-shirt. Buy the merch because they're going to be our new tag team champions very soon. Sorry, A-Clown Down Under. Nick Gallagher's best line. That's not putting a t-shirt I miss now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching this match via a phone sitting in a cinema watching the Phantom Menace because it was also May 4th and I'm a Star Wars head. So of course, 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, I had to go and relive Duel of the Fates in the cinema. So we had the phone there watching it and I was shocked it was the fourth match. Also pissed because I was hoping the fourth match to be a match that I didn't care for, which wasn't a lot of on that to be fair. So here they watch it in the cinema and a woman behind us leans in, "You guys are in the cinema, turn that off now." And I'm like, oh fuck. So we're hiding the phone there trying to watch it all the way to the wall shed. We leaned on a pint glass, on a bottle of water even, and continue watch it there. It was unbelievable, that match. It had everything. And plus, I called it weeks ago. I said, if Tama Tonga is signed, then so too is his brother. And lo and behold, the Bloodline has Destiny, the gorillas of Destiny. And I'm loving this incarnation of the Bloodline. Because I don't give a fuck Bloodline, and I'm here for it. And Paul Heyman, you can sell me whatever you're selling me, you go door to door, I will buy it.
Yeah, Tony, I actually love how you were in the cinema for that because cinema
Yeah,
is
if that girl is a follower, I apologise. But as a wrestling fan, I had to make sure the fourth match wasn't one I didn't want to miss. So I apologise if I pissed you off. That was not my intention. So, sorry.
this was cinema, this match, right?
Yeah.
Again,
It
everything
was.
with the
It was.
Bloodline,
It was.
it's unbelievable. You're the perfect place for you to watch that. So picture the scene. We're watching. The crowd's clearly hot. How many times have we used, or have I particularly used the words tone deaf describing wrestling since I've come onto this podcast? A number.
I don't think you've used it. I think this might be our fourth time. I think this might be the first.
Who would have thought? I think I said it every single bloody podcast. But the opposite, you've got to say here, right? This is the most in tune start to a show I've seen for a long time. That crowd was hot and they just gave them blood and thunder early on. It was an amazing opener. I was expecting just a small tag team match. Some of the spots we got were unbelievable. Some of the action, Kevin Owens looked incredible. Yeah, he takes the fall, which is fine. But some of the moments in that match, I could watch that again and again and again. And I'm not really, again, I don't know if that's my preferred style of wrestling, but see when they decided to make that a street fight and the crowd just bought in. They already had the crowd where they wanted them, and the crowd had the wrestlers
really
where they
did.
wanted them. But they just gave it what a perfect opening, and it set the tone for the full pay-per-view. It was a brilliant brilliant match.
Like I still didn't get caught off guard watching wrestling, and when I thought they were throwing that match out as a no contest, I was effing and being under my breath in the cinema. I'm like, fuck this, fuck that, fucking hell.
The girl
See,
behind you is thinking, "Oh, Jar Jar Binks
I'm
isn't that
telling you,
bad."
that girl behind me, she did what I would have done if someone had that found out in the cinema. So hats off to her.
I really, really, really enjoyed that match, and yeah, I'm just glad that they decided to give the crowd what they deserved, and those in the ring absolutely smashed it. What a start! Energy.
Yeah. And that literally is the theme of the night, energy. Like from start to finish, the whole match, from coming out like almost just as if it was going to be a normal match, to Nick Aldis coming out and saying like, we're going to be making this a street fight, and that the place erupted. Everyone just bounced out of the ring, headed here north, south, east, and west across the building. It was just perfect. It was a perfect start to a perfect show.
Yeah. What about that Fisherman's Buster
That was
off the top rope?
unbelievable. That like if
Just
that had a tweaked the wrong way, it could have been a serious injury. So that's been a lot of practice in that one. That was an unbelievable move.
It's a throwback, wasn't it? That was Kevin Steen we saw there. That was
It
unfiltered
was.
Ring of Honor. I'ma just throw people about because I'm a fighter. That was great. And Owens has been very good in the last few months. And that, yeah, all kind of culminated in that one moment for me. The guy is very entertaining when the shackles are off. And yeah, him and Orton, we said it last week. We want to see them continue as a tag team. They've got their name now. What a great watch. And I'm more than happy to sit and watch this feud continue between them and the Bloodline, even though it's clear they're building more towards a Bloodline. If we get more KO like that and Orton just looking like he's having a lot of fun, I'm all right to watch that. I'm a tune in.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Also a great way to kick off what was a very noisy night in France. I don't think there was much you could have faulted in that match. It had everything. It had everything, including the new member of the Bloodline, which apparently not a lot of people knew who he was, which I was shocked by because I thought the Gorillas were well known. That caught me off guard a little.
I didn't actually realize that he. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen him on the WWE screen. He was a Mexican.
He was, yeah.
Camacho.
Camacho. He was a Hunico.
Hunico and Camacho, which is a bit weird. However, he looks like a boss.
It wouldn't be the first time Vince took a Samoan and made him a different nationality. Let's be fair.
Yes, that is true. I only just realized that Solo Sikoa's real middle name is Yokozuna, by the way. However,
Nice.
did you see as well? I mean, bless him, massive moment. But even in amongst what was a fairly botchy show, I didn't really care. The debut, I don't know if you guys saw the referee. There was a brilliant angle. If the listeners haven't seen it, the referee he knows he's supposed to be pulled out, but there's nobody pulling his leg for the 3 count for Camacho's return. He ends up pulling himself out, and then our new member of the Bloodline decides to enter out the ring just in time to touch the referee's leg. But it wasn't like, yeah, when Tangaloa comes out, he just missed his cue slightly, and it still didn't take anything away from the match. So fair fucks.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because obviously, like whenever they're shown from certain angles, especially like after you see the show type of thing, and that I think that was one of the reasons why they probably didn't show it on, on WWE. Whereas like a fan has kind of put it up and that, and you could see it, like you're going like, fair play to the referee for doing what he done there, because it made it look less kind of botchy, but still botchy, but it didn't take anything away from the match, as you said.
Yeah, better for myself.
Yeah, and it won't be the first time, it won't be the last time on this podcast where we'll be talking about botches involving referees.
Won't be. Like I think we're all in agreement. All it was a banger of a start for Backlash. It was a match that had everything, and like you pointed out, I was so happy they made it a street fight because It just couldn't have been a normal match.
No. No.
Moving on though to the second match of the night, which I can't actually. I know all the matches, but I don't know which match
This
is
was the
second.
women's triple threat.
It
This is
wasn't a
your
triple threat. Okay, that was
So
Bailey versus Naomi versus
Tiffany
Tiffany.
Stratton. The
Tiffany,
last
yes.
week,
Future wife, but my messing. I don't want any trouble.
last week, um, Jamie, who I hope he's listening, I hope he's doing well, made me more excited for this match than I was before. And he really got me invested with the idea that Tiffany Stratton, she was never going to win, but he really wanted to see her win, and bless him. Why not? This was, it had to go after such a ridiculously clusterfuck before it. It had to go, straight afterwards. But the crowd remains hot, and it was perfectly adequate. I said last week that this pay-per-view was all about, um, you know, awkward first title defenses for Bailey, for Priest, for Cody. It was perfectly acceptable for a first title defense. It was a solid match.
It was a pretty good match too. It was a solid match.
Solid match, and it didn't give us anything, like that we didn't need. Naomi looked fine. Tiffany Stratton, you want to see more of her. She's going to be a star. Bailey gets that win against some,
This is
two
what I
decent
said last week.
opponents. Yeah.
I had said last week that she's not going to win. They're going to use this to start building Tiffy star power. She has it. It's there. And I do fully believe now that Triple H is the one calling the shot sign and the contracts. It won't be long before Mandy Rose is back in WWE and everyone gets that match that they're craving, and that's Tiffy versus Mandy.
You heard it here first in the weekly controversies.
Recruit of the year.
Well, no, we didn't, because it was mentioned on the podcast that Mandy Rose is on, so I took it from there.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard it
They
here second.
showcased all three women. Like, whatever they plan next for either of them, it's going to be good. Like, they Nia is on SmackDown now. I assume Nia will be next to feud with Bailey.
Yeah.
But I mean, the match for me, I can't. It was really good. Each wrestler got to showcase what they can do, show they belong. Bailey ultimately came out on top. Like, I think we all guessed last week about the predictions, because you seldom see wrestlers losing their first title defense, unless their names are Sasha and Banks.
and that it's actually funny you mentioned about Sasha and Banks, because obviously they actually included her in the part where they had Naomi in, which is something that they very rarely do if there's something down the line that they could maybe look into. So obviously we know where she is at the moment, but down the line, there's always that possibility of her potentially coming back, because sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Well, I again, very probably she said for a while, or she said in that interview, Sasha Mercedes Moné, that she eventually wants to come back. And fair play, I don't see why she wouldn't. Don't see why anyone would want to come back to WWE when they're this hot. But the name that we haven't really spoken about here is Naomi. And I kind of want to see what you guys think. Her whole comeback, she's a name, but she's kind of lost in the shuffle here, isn't she? Where do you see her
She's
going?
one of those people that just, I think she needs to be sent somewhere to hone her skills, to not better her craft, because she's a really good wrestler, but like to not rebrand herself, reinvent herself maybe.
Yeah. Because even whenever she was on, on Impact and stuff like that, I mean, she didn't I felt as if it was just still Naomi. It didn't seem like, like Trinity. It was more about Naomi still, you were seeing. You weren't seeing like a different side. You weren't seeing like maybe even like a whole different gimmick change type of thing for her, instead of, now maybe they could work with that and maybe, turn her against Bailey type of thing, and she turns off being a heel. But she's one of those ones where if you were to do that with her, you would have to, I don't know, I mean, her whole image would have to change for sure. And then obviously the fans, for the ones that do cheer for her type of thing, and that'll just turn on her straight away, sort of thing. So it's one of those ones where, what do they do with her? Because I've lost 2 matches now for the women's title.
Was it Naomi that took the L at Backlash?
I think so. from what I can remember, because I know the hug after the hug after the match, and it was right
I
beside
think
the
it was
ropes.
Naomi I think it was Naomi that took the L, I think. Which means, again, what I said last week, they protected Tiffany because they planned for. I think Tiffany's going to win Money in the Bank. I think she wins this year's Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Because they can do so much with her having a briefcase. They can custom it, make money off it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know people are probably on the stage, oh, but why not Queen of the Ring? I thought, is he giving a title shot for Queen of the Ring? Can she custom her role? But I suppose she can. I suppose she can make Queen of the Ring her thing because she's that kind of gimmick too. But I think with the Money in the Bank, it makes it that much more unpredictable.
Yeah. Exactly.
With Naomi, do you think with the bloodline story going in a direction of everybody who has anything to do with it getting involved, do you think they're maybe gonna somehow involve her going forward there? Is that
But
like how we build her
it's
up again?
assuming that you're doing a solo bloodline against a Roman bloodline, so essentially Wolfpack versus NWO. Does that mean that Nia is going to be on Solo's bloodline? So Naomi can join Jimmy, Jay, and Roman's bloodline? Assuming that's the direction they're going in. Nobody shoot me in the comment section later on today.
Yeah, because it's to me it's one of those ones where, and that's the thing, because the bloodline haven't really introduced any female into their story as such, so for Naomi to maybe be one of the first ones, along with maybe, as I say, Nia Jax potentially there as well, it could happen. It could happen, because there's especially with Nia Jax being on SmackDown now as well, so you could see something happening there. Who
Are
knows?
enough fans like aware of Naya's connection to the bloodline
Yeah.
and the family? That's the only thing, because I completely forgot just when you mentioned that. It makes sense, but I just completely forgot. But yeah, I wonder about Naomi and slightly worry because there's a lot of people there. She was brought back. She deserved to be back in the WWE, but there's just a lot of star power at the moment, and she has kind of lost
I
in the
really
shuffle.
hope if Triple H does what he says he does and he's going to start signing proper talent, I really hope he offers Jordan Grace a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If there's one person that deserves a break, a chance, it is Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
what a
Yeah.
machine.
Because she is unfucking believable.
Yes. And like even like whenever she made her WWE debut technically sort of thing at the Rumble, and that she put
I'm
on
the
a
only one that
very,
I'm the only one in that Wembley box park that popped that knew who she was in the music kit. Everyone else was like, who is it? Who is it? I'm like, it's Jordan fucking Grace.
yeah, and that's the thing. It was nice to have that kind of a crossover as well, because there was talk about it before the Rumble type of thing, and then obviously coming out so early in the Women's Rumble type of thing, and then getting that pop, and seeing her come to WWE as well as part of whether it's going to be as a WWE superstar herself, or whether it's still part of the whole TNA WWE partnership type thing that they've possibly got on there as well. And that either way, it would be nice to see her come in, because I think that's what the women's division of WWE is missing this time. It's like it's a lot of times you find there's too many similar types of matches happening every single week, and that's why I love to have you've got Lyra on Raw now. You've got obviously Damage Control switching over to Raw now as well from SmackDown. So you're going to have different matches now with them. Whereas that's why I'm so glad that they've moved from SmackDown, because if you had stuck them on SmackDown, it would have just been the same stories all over again. And that with Bailey, Damage Control, blah blah blah. Whereas now you've got a whole different setup on Raw, a whole different setup in SmackDown. And it's so nice to see that, because, as I
That's what
say,
you want. That's the it
there's no
freshens up everything for you,
yeah,
and it
oh,
gets
definitely
you thinking,
freshness.
oh, we can get that, we can get this.
Yeah, big time. And I think it's the same with with the men's. I mean, you don't want too many of the same matches. You get a lot of that with the
I
tag
think
teams. If I'm honest,
in regards to we'll get to that at a later point, the Miz and our truth, because I'm sure we'll have time to discuss other stuff. But all in all, that triple threat, it was a really good match. It wasn't a 5-star match, as Dave Meltzer called it, but it was a good match. I mean, mixed of everything. The girls went in, they had it planned out, they did what they had to do. They got their moments to shine. and they were to be done. There was a really dangerous spot outside the ring, I believe, that could have really went pear-shaped, but it didn't, thankfully. But all in all, I enjoyed it. Like, again, not much to complain about. It delivered as it should have for a match that was an awkward first title defense. We knew Bailey was winning, but they made everyone else look strong and doing it. So that means they're not going away thinking, oh, but she's going to get lost in the shuffle now, or she's going to get lost in the shuffle now. No, she might go on and do that. She might go on and do this. What's next for Bailey? We'll find out on SmackDown, I suppose. But I, like I said, I think it was a good match. The right person won. It wouldn't have made sense for the drop it on our first title defense because we're not Vince McMahon booking anymore. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to that, but for me, it was the way it should have been for an awkward title defense.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually we've gone as long talking about it, to be fair.
We
it's
we technically segue it, and I'm trying to segue us back on track.
yeah, fair dues. What a host you are. Yeah, no, I'm no more to say.
Yeah, same.
Let me move on to our third match, and a match that I really fell in love with the entrance, especially after the tweet that came out after it. It was Jey Uso coming through the crowd against Damian Priest, where they turned the lights down, and all you see is the flashes of the lights going on and off and on and off. Followed by, I think it was a couple of hours later, Jey Uso tweeted saying the Fireflies returned, and I was like, man, even though he didn't win, even though we could have took full credit for that, he gave all that credit to a man that's not with us anymore, but he gave that credit to him nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know, because the fans again above and beyond every single one of them with their phones out getting involved. It was something else, that entrance, like chills. Absolutely, I don't know anyone else can agree with me, but I got chilled watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare, even sitting watching at home, to get chills just watching an entrance, let alone a match. But to get these types of chills, you know they're doing something right. Not just WWE wise, but fans that were in that arena. Had that have been an American crowd, wouldn't have been the same feeling. They wouldn't have been like, they wouldn't have had the same emotion going into that match, whereas the fans there, that they did. And that's, to me, what made that entrance that night so special.
I
Yeah,
hope the crowds in Europe wake up the crowds in America and they're like, if we don't start acting like that, Triple H is going to move everything, move that whole ship to Europe.
Yeah.
if only we were so lucky. Yeah,
Listen, never say never.
I did like the entrance as well. Typically, you know my thoughts on Jey Uso. Like, I think he is entrance and character alone. The bell then has to ring at some point. It did, but when you say chills, I'm all right with someone like that being as over as that, getting that entrance and having the crowd with them. Like, that is wrestling. That's the participation. That's when you want to be in the crowd. That's why the French were there. They wanted to yeet. The guy is over, and they continued to yeet throughout the match as well. We'll get on to the match, of course. I'll let you guys say your pieces on what your thoughts.
Before we
But
get on to the match,
yeah,
because I'm dying to get on to the match because it was actually quite a good match. We need to
yeah,
talk
go
about
for it.
something that happened prior to Jay's music hitting. Jey Uso had a confrontation while waiting to go through Gorilla. That confrontation was with his brother and his cousins, and most importantly, a very hostage held looking Paul Heyman, who to me looked like he looked at Jey Uso to say, "Help me, I need help, help me."
Yeah, definitely.
What are your thoughts on that little confrontation, that little Easter egg, little snippet that we were given?
Yeah, I think that's the tease for the summer. That right there is for what's going to build and build and build, not just for the summer and for the rest of the year, but going into next year as well. You know, there's so much that's still to be told, that's yet to be finished, and it could take forever for this to finish. And I don't care when it finishes. If it finishes before I die, then so be it. But if not, but I'm here for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, hard not to have actually loved that little moment. We're on the roller coaster that is the post WrestleMania lull. It's the kind of the bit that builds back up because you've had that massive crescendo.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I think this is, as you say, the tease, maybe not even of the summer. This is a long term thing. Suddenly you're thinking about Roman coming back. You're looking at Paul Heyman, who just sells you everything with his face, and you're thinking about Jimmy Uso. Like somehow, I am thinking, where's Jimmy? And that is for me the beauty of the whole Jey Uso thing, because as we will talk about, the bell has to ring at some point, and that's when you lose a little bit of interest. But when don't you lose interest in Jey? When he's tagging with Jimmy, and we want to see it again, and we will, and that's the tease that we're kind of getting towards. It was just a small little moment that just gave so much potential. Looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
I think it sets the tone for the summer, like Rob said. Like, we don't know what the summer holds. We don't know when our tribal chief will reemerge. All I ask, if you're one of the 89 followers we have, Triple H, pick the right audience for the head of the table to return. Not in a shit show that ain't going to cheer for him. I'm not going to give him the pop in his ears when he reemerges. That's all I ask.
Where's Survivor
Go back to
Series?
France for a random Raw. Go back to France for a random Raw and let him return in France. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, what about Dublin?
What about bashing
I'll take Dublin.
Berlin?
I'll take Dublin. I'll take Berlin. But I think Berlin's being held for a Austrian in an army-like stew with a very slick back haircut and maybe some facial hair. That went so well 40, 50 years ago, so can't see why it wouldn't go well.
Yeah.
But
Right, the match.
moving, fast forwarding straight onto the match.
Yeah,
I mean,
then the bell
I
rang.
think the bell rang, and I think it was the third title defense of the night, the third what we slated as awkward first time defense, but it wasn't an awkward first time defense because they both worked really well, and there was nothing awkward about it. You had your back in your fort, you had the heel antics. There was miscommunications. I'm not gonna lie, there was miscommunications as far as I can tell in that match. But I mean, again, we knew what way it was going, but still, even though we know where it was going, there were moments where you're like, are they? Will they really? Are they really gonna shaft Damien Priest on the sports title defense? And then, of course, forget about that ace that Damien Priest has and then doesn't like having from time to time. Is two uninjured cohorts of the Judgment Day, JD and Finn, to the rescue once again. But can't hate the game. You can't hate the player nor the game in this situation because we knew it was coming. We were blind to see it, but we knew it was coming. But it was a fun match. Had a mix of everything. I can't complain. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they gave the fans what they knew needed to be given.
Yeah. So this one, it doesn't need to be a banger. This one, there's two elements to the actual match and the storytelling of the match itself. It's not about ring psychology. It's not about, collar and elbow tie-ups and two wrestlers really giving you a clinic, as they say. This one was about the story between Damien Priest and being power hungry with the Judgment Day, and then about, as a lot of Jey Uso matches are, building around his moveset where the fans can get involved. And they gave you both. They had your yeets with each punch, and you had the whole storytelling with the Judgment Day. So really, it was a TV match kind of thing. If that was a main event on Monday Night Raw, you're probably like, yeah, that I can see that. It's a story. It's building for something bigger, but it also ticks the box of being that awkward title defense. Like Jey Uso is over enough to stand in the ring and deserve a title match. He's not one who really needs to win the world title for me, and that's why he was probably the right person, just because he doesn't get hurt by losing this match, and it allows him that crowd pop, and it allows us to get that farther development of the Judgment Day story. Wherever that is going to go, we're all a bit like, we're not confused, but we're conflicting in where we think and who we think maybe the heel and the face that will come from it. But hey, again, we're on that roller coaster. Stick around, see where it goes. I agree with you. This match was perfectly adequate for that awkward title defense and told told the story they need to be told.
What about you, Robert? Your 2 cents?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with both of you there because obviously, the story, the match itself told what it needed to tell. Basically, everyone knew Priest wasn't going to lose his belt here, but you always like to still have that kind of element in the match where is this going to be the night that is he going to lose it in the first title defense? Because you would like that sort of surprise, of an element. Obviously you knew you were going to have JD and Finn. They were going to come down at some point because that's what they do. But nonetheless, Damian Priest, as per se, grand job defending his championship against a very good player in Jey Uso, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Jey next, as well, because now even though he's lost this match, where do they put him next? Especially with what we're going to be talking about later on as well with the King of the Ring tournament as well. What do they do with him going forward? I think it's going to be the next question on everyone's mind with Jey, because he's got the fans behind him. He's got the fans backing.
I think he's in King of the Ring by default, so they can use that to kill, I think, the next 2 or 3 weeks if he goes in and he loses in one of the rounds over in Saudi. But I think we all know where Jey is heading. There's going to be an angle that puts Jey on the shelf, and Jey's going to just miraculously reappear on SmackDown. At what point, I don't know, because they fucked up not in the draft. So there's going to be an injury angle there to make him just reappear. But we're here for it. We're here for it. I'm here for it. I can't wait to see what happens in Cleveland when we get to SummerSlam. Yes, I did jump past Toronto. I did jump past Toronto. Come at me, Canada. Come at me. But unless you are against it, moving on to the next match on the card, it was a storm that did not come. Yes, I did. I did just do that because for the first time of the night, there was a match that horrendously under-delivered and went on far too long than it should have. I said it last week. It should have been a squash match, and instead they tried to make it a competitive wrestling match. I am talking about the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Bianca and Jade and Damage Control. And before people come at me and say, why do you want Asuka squashed? Mates, friends, girls, Asuka has been squashed since she lost her streak to Charlotte Flair at Mania 34. Come at me. So there's no reason she shouldn't be getting squashed against these two beasts that they're building up to take the tag titles, unless they're throwing Bianca here, which hasn't happened yet. It's coming, has not happened yet. It should have been one of those matches that lasted no longer than 3 minutes, where they came in, kiss of death, whatever she's calling her, Jaded. Is she calling it Jaded in WWE as well? Does anyone know? Or if she re-changed it? I think she's still calling it Jaded or Glam Slam.
Yeah, I think it's Jaded. I think I heard it in commentary. I think it was Jaded whenever they were doing it.
Jaded still. Yeah. So that's literally what it should have been. It should have been a KOD, a Jaded, 1, 2, 3. Let's all move on to the main event because no one gives a fuck about that tag team division because it died when Sasha and Trinity decided to walk out rather than help it.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. I'm happy. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I think the women's tag division, it's very hit and miss. I mean, with Bianca and Jade winning it, this is a team that you would look at. Okay, they're not a team per se. They're like two single superstars formed up as per usual WWE standard women's tag team. But this is a type of tag team that should hold belts for almost like 2 years, 3 years because they're that powerful together. But we know they're not going to because they're not going to book them that way because they're going to book them to split them up down the line. Where it's going to be, who knows? But that's what they're going to book it as. But that's what they should. If they're going to book them as a tag team, that's the way they should be booked, as in being a strong team. Have them hold the woman, the tag team titles for a really, really, really long period, and that until they can find someone who's stronger than them to take them and who are a proper team.
Yeah, I can agree with what both of you are saying, and it should have been a squash. It shouldn't have gone for 17 minutes, but I think it under delivered as well. Again, not really through their own fault. Can someone better than me describe what on earth happened with the referee then? Because this was the referee botch that I was alluding to earlier, where it became a mess in this middle chunk, which is a shame because they rectified it in the end, but somebody else will do a better job. It seemed like the ref didn't know who was legal, and then there was an odd tag that went on.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself actually during the match, and I was like, that
this
really
happens
got
quite a lot. It does. Are you wearing a Fabio t-shirt?
Of course. Of course.
That's solid. That is.
That's solid.
I mean, it happens. The referee is trying to keep his eyes and left and right. It does happen. You could call it heel antics if you want to make you feel better. It does happen. There was confusion because the match ended with, was it Jade pinning Kyrie?
Yeah.
But the legal people were Bianca and Asuka.
Yeah, because
That's
from
where the
yeah,
wires got crossed.
yeah, because what I remember seeing, I can't remember who it was, but they went out to the ring, and then they actually tagged themselves back in, and then the referee made the tag back in to say that, okay, you're back in again. But they already were. I think that was Kyrie Sane. So Kyrie Sane was the one who wasn't legal. Then so Asuka should have been the one that was in, and then it switched around, and then Kyrie was in.
Now, without spoiling too much of Raw, we know Asuka was not on Raw last night. I know we're on Friday, folks, for those that download the list on a Friday, but just bear with me for a second. And it ended up being Lyra against Dakota. So I am assuming the reason the referee did what he did is because Asuka got injured and couldn't get back to the ring.
Mm.
So they ended up swapping who the legal people were.
Mm.
Now, how she got injured, I don't know. It could have been off the KOD. It could have been off of, I think there was a spot where she was buckle bombed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think I could be wrong. She was tossed into the turnbuckles rather. It could have been from there. But it does look like she's injured, which seems to be an ongoing thing right now with WWE talent host Mania. There seems to be a lot of injuries coming out. Some that we believe are worked and some that are not.
Bianca got the cover in the end. That was the thing. The whole thing was a bit odd. There was a there was an arm bar, sort of an arm lock from Kyrie on Jade, and the referee's literally tapping Kyrie, saying like you're not legal, you're not legal. And that was a bit awkward, but yeah, even that kind of cross body she did, and she tried to get a pin. The referee was like,
Yeah.
legal. But then it was actually in the end, Asuka took the cover. But remember, Jade she did the Jaded, but it was that ridiculous, like, was throwing her up and whatever. It was did that on Kairi Sane, and then Bianca followed up, did the KOD to Asuka, threw her onto Kairi Sane, and that's how they got the win. But it just was a little bit awkward, but we still got this massive moment in the end where Jade did get to have that. It looked cool. I know people want to shit on Jade. She's not ready. She's this. She's that. But spots like that,
Listen,
she does look monstrous.
I don't shit on Jade. I think she's just been pushing her faces too much. But if this team and up behind and Jade can somehow make this tag division relevant again, I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm here for it. But like the question you have to ask yourself is, you eventually pull the trigger and Bianca turns here, which I assume is going to be one of the matches for SummerSlam, Bianca against Jade. Could be wrong, probably am, but if I'm not, what tag team are you putting in the ring to take the belts off of your two powerhouse female talents?
You see,
Because one of them has to take the loss.
See, this is where I would rather have Chelsea and Piper Niven split up, and Piper go off with Nia Jax as a tag team, and put them two together. Similar
But then you have the same problem. When eventually they drop the titles to Piper and Nia, and you're building Piper and Nia as these mega heel monsters, what tag team takes the belts off them?
Yeah, because I mean,
like we're not 99 anymore. We give Taker and Kane the tag belts and then have Rock and Triple H take them the following week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's literally a case of that bitch is 6 foot, that bitch is 4 foot. You want me to believe that 4 foot bitch took that belt off that 6 foot bitch? Not probably a bad way to put it, but I don't know. It's not 6 foot. She's about 5'8", 5'9", whatever the case is. but still, you get me point.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you're not going to have someone like, who's going to be a smaller size person going to try and lift Nia Jax. Do you know what I mean? The same with Piper Niven. You're not going to have someone like going to lift her up type of thing. That's why I'm saying, like, if you put them together as a tag team, and same thing with, as I say, with Bianca and Jade, the fact that they could hold them for a long period of time because of the type of wrestlers that they are.
But
there's stuff.
Thankfully, the crowd did not get suffocated by how bad the match was. Again, no disrespect to the girls, it was just piss poor. Because they kept that electricity going right into the main event, which is the follow match, which I assume I can move on to. I'm assuming we've all done that piece. I'm allowed to move swiftly on. We moved on to the main event, which in my mind was phenomenal. There's no other way to put it. It was AJ, Cody. Cody was signed to the ring. Wasn't the only wrestler signed to the ring that night. They sang a few wrestlers to the ring because the French can sing. But Cody was signed to the ring to what I had to say is the loudest wall he's gotten today.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone that was in an 80,000 strong Lincoln Financial Stadium for WrestleMania 40 when he won the flipping title.
Yeah.
That's a credit to the French people and other people that made traveled over. Y'all did good. But the match was so good. It was, I don't know how long it was, probably 20, 25 minutes, but it was just so good. Even before they start resting, the French people start singing for AJ, and you're like, sorry, who's the face, who's the heel here?
I think that was the thing too, because and that's what it made it sort of the type of match it was. It was, it literally had everything. Like, I mean, start to finish. I mean, you could see that both guys were getting a wee bit sort of tired toward the end of the match, but that's expected because of how long they were going for, and what they were going for as well. Plus, obviously, the crowd's energy, I think just carried them over. And that because how they managed to have that kind of energy for 2 nights is phenomenal, and it's a credit to everyone who was there over those few days. And I just hope that
if that's their resume for the 2-night WrestleMania in the Stade du Paris in Paris, listen, I'm all in. Sign me up, because
I'm in agreement. But
sorry.
No, I thought you were finished. The other thing worth talking about, right? Well, a few. I'm gonna go into a bit of detail here. The entrances, outstanding. What I love as well is the main event feel of the announcement style. This is a match that again it's purely there to give Cody a good first defense. He's winning, whatever. At no point did you believe AJ was going to win. But when they're doing this announcement, when they've got that camera, that odd camera effect, and they've got the zooming in to each wrestler and the detail they are whilst their names are being announced, it feels huge. And it felt main event. And it really was the sort of thing where you start to believe maybe actually there's a chance. No, I didn't, but still, you could as someone in that arena think that this is big, this feels huge. It felt like, Cody and Mania. That was amazing. That opening, AJ's ring gear was amazing. That was a callback. AJ Styles being the only person to fight or to have a wrestling match for a title against both Cody and Dusty Rhodes. And he wore the same gear or sort of same color, this kind of purple that he had on was a throwback, was a callback to him fighting Dusty Rhodes. And that was cool.
I'm happy that you copped that callback, but it was also a callback to something else. And I need to tell you what the second callback was to.
He's joining the Judgment Day?
No. It's a callback to Taker's attire from '94. Purple gloves, the purple like the socks over the boots. It was when he was purple Taker. He even mentioned on Twitter, he put a picture side by side of him and Taker with the purple gear. I thought it was all a lot of top really cool that we did it. because you can tell the story anyway. Like Ravish and Ripley told the story with his attire. He'd put either his opponent on it or his opponent's misses on it, and he'd be like, "This lad's getting he kicked in," and it was just you can tell the story with your attire, and these lads know that. So fair play to AJ for coming out and be like, "I'm gonna put on the attire similar to what I wore against Dusty just to fuck with him."
Yeah. Again, so maybe
Even
go on,
even
Rob, go.
Cody with his call back down the whole Stardust thing,
Yeah,
and you were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, because I was going to actually sort of touch on that as well. Because obviously, even like obviously you had Seth doing the same thing with Cody wearing the whole Dusty kind of ring attire kind of thing for the match that he had and that, and seeing that play on mind games with them and that, and but Cody, as I say, like doing the whole Stardust thing, I do love whenever he does that. To be fair, like because obviously like he sees that as being like one of the ones that he wishes he hadn't done, but at the same time, it's like it was what it was. But I actually really enjoyed Stardust whenever he was around, but not many did. But I thought it was a real fun character to have had around at that time. But now the fact that he's now the American Nightmare and he's your WWE Undisputed Champion.
I can't believe you just said that. They don't call us the weekly controversies for nothing. I cannot
Really
believe
don't.
you just said that.
That could be the straw that breaks the contract, and we may get cancelled. This may be the week we get cancelled.
You
Somebody called
actually
Stardust
liked
entertaining. What in the
Stardust.
name of Christ?
Rob, how the
Even
fuck
Cody didn't like Stardust.
did Rob get to be a host on this? That's
Rob was brought
mad.
into the FiveMarks long before I was, and we had to give him a home. And we just knew we'd find a home at weekly controversies because the lads are walking controversy.
I have heard some weird takes. I've heard Tony be adamant that Roman Reigns is walking out of WrestleMania as the champ.
And he
Only
comes
to eat
out.
humble
Listen,
pie.
when you're a
And
fan, you're a fan. When you're loyal to your man, you're loyal to your man, no homo.
But this is the most ridiculous take I've heard. Although, full circle, now that we get to see him do it as a piss take, I can say I too was entertained. However, going into more detail on the match itself, the Stardust stuff was good. The fans chanting Stardust, gotta love it, all that sort of stuff. And then there's some brilliant spots again. We saw a burning hammer here. AJ hitting Cody with a burning hammer. They had a lot of fun. The two of them
Now,
had,
I have a bone to pick with this.
yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of wrestlers that are strong style wrestling fans do too. How fucking dare you kick out of that burning hammer on a 1 count? How dare you sandbag that burning hammer move on a 1 count? I don't care if you're Cody Rhodes. I don't care if you beat the Tribal G. You do not sandbag a burning hammer. It does not happen.
In the
You kick out a
context,
still like a good boy.
in the context of the match, it worked, and it got the crowd even hotter.
Oh, it did. It did, Evander.
I bloody loved that spot. And do you know what? Again, we saw a top rope Cody cutter as well, which was awkward. He kind of
I was going to say,
overhit it,
he
but
nearly went over and missed.
at the same time, it looked so fucking cool that I was okay with it. The whole thing was both, it was slightly messy and awkward, but raw. And that was really good to watch. They both entertained me in what was, again, supposed to just be this easy win for Cody, this predictable win, this awkward title defense. But in terms of match quality, that was a quality match. A great watch. Right Man won. We knew it was going to happen. Crowd hot for the whole thing. The crowd were rewarded for their noise by the spots. They reacted to what the wrestlers were doing in the ring. The wrestlers reacted to the crowd. It gave you a very watchable main event. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the match, even though it can be odd at times knowing fine well the winner of a match like that. And sometimes as a fan, you're almost waiting for the finish. I was never expecting AJ to win that match, or I never at one moment thought that Cody was going to drop the title, but it didn't matter because the match itself was so watchable that I was totally fine with it. It was match of the night for me, maybe just between that and the opening bout. But no,
I think I'm the same page you, Mark. For me, the opening and the closing of the show, matches of the night, the MVPs.
yeah, the Backlash sandwich.
if you
A,
will.
a
If you
proper
will, ladies and
French,
gentlemen.
a French baguette.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think like the whole show from start to finish, it was probably one of the best kind of like after Mania sort of shows that there's been for a while. And for it to be so short on numbers of matches as well, and every match, well, bar, as I say, the women's tag team matches, I say, obviously we need the outcome of that, but it's kind of like, as I say, it was really high score wise for me, it's for sure. Overall, I would have given it a 9, the whole match, the whole show itself. I think
I
the
was going to
front.
ask for ratings in the next question, so thanks for jumping the gun there. I
You're,
like
you're
you gave it a
welcome.
9.
You're welcome. But the match itself, as I say, loved it, every single bit of it. From start to finish, the whole production side of the match, the entrances, as I say, not just like with the entrances, but also like obviously whenever they were in the ring, you had, the way they were coming up with the champion challenger type of thing, and that it just gave it that extra element for me as well, because it's something that you haven't seen probably that maybe, well, obviously they started doing this at WrestleMania as well, type of thing as well, which is nice to see and nice to continue with that, the way they're producing it now. And that, you can't ask for such a better production of the whole show. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned actually was a fan with a bring back Doink the Heel.
Saw that, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, they know their stuff. They know their stuff. But yeah,
I will, when I give you my score, 'cause I'm going to ask Mark for his score as well. I have my reasons for my score, and I have a reason why I marked it down. But before I get on to ask you our scores, we gave our predictions last week for this. How many people got 5 out of 5?
I actually have mine written down myself. So I always put a wee tick beside which ones I call as well.
I fucked up at WrestleMania, but I got 5 on it at Backlash.
Yeah.
You can't see me.
Yeah,
Couldn't see Cena either, even though he was there.
I'm certain that we probably all agreed unanimously last week, and it's one of those, like I say, I hate it because it is that, I keep saying it, that awkward title defense, that awkward first
But even though it
pay-per-view,
was that predictable, it was such a good show.
and that I can agree with entirely. Spot on. Like, it didn't matter how predictable this was because it was so good to watch. I wonder if, again, before, like, I think about really overall how the show was, I just wonder if this show would have held its same sort of feeling as a fan to watch if that was out of Columbus or, I don't know, name a fucking random place. So Winnipeg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
Well,
does
in
this
fairness to Canada can be a shit hot crowd. They really can when they want to.
just,
We look at them for Sami Zayn and Roman, you know what I mean? I think it's just the
yeah,
American crowds get the shows in every state all year round, and it's not even a novelty anymore. It's just, yeah. When you come to Europe, we don't get them big shows. We go all over them.
Yeah.
did the
Like
crowd make
there's
the
a
show?
reason.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
There's a
think
reason Triple H is starting to tour Europe and do different parts of Europe. He said it in his press. Oh, I mind up Italy. Of course you are, because Italian fans are crazy.
yeah, and I think and as you were saying, Mark, I think crowds do make the show as well, because I mean that probably would have been an average sort of 78 sort of scoring system, but I think that crowd for me, that's why, as I say, it give it that extra element, from start to finish, from the time they probably arrived in Lyon till the time that they left. Like I would say, probably even on planes, they're probably still bouncing about, and their planes going up and down, trying to travel back. That's how hot that crowd was. Like, and I know there were some people from Ireland over at it as well. I'm sure, like the atmosphere from it, even coming back, you're probably seeing planes coming back in the Dublin airport, just bouncing up and down like this, going yeet with the planes, all over the place. But yeah, that's what a European crowd feels like. People always talk about the atmosphere from the likes of, you look at Edge's theme from, or sorry, Adam Copeland's theme, sorry, I should say, from Clash at the Castle from a couple of years ago. You've seen how hot they were then. That's 60,000+ singing his song. And for him to basically tweet out or put out an Instagram literally the next day about how, he felt that was almost as high up as like some, whenever he's in Canada, and him saying something like that, it's huge. Whenever you get a reaction like that, it's the same feeling whenever you've got 12 to 16,000 people singing, partying, dancing all night long in Lyon, France for 2 nights. What are you going to get whenever Mark and the rest of them hit Glasgow?
You'd hear
some noise.
You'd hear the wrestlers tell you when they come over for indie shows, whether it's Rev Pro in England, Progress in England, ODT in Ireland, they keep saying it to you. We come back because you guys are the best crowds we can perform in front of. Because we show up and we show out. We are not afraid to have our voices be heard. Because we just do not care.
There is absolutely no doubt that this was a very good show. But it was elevated by the crowd. And it does go.
Absolutely.
It goes to show that, as I said last week or whenever it was, the business decisions that are being made to get over the dip after WrestleMania, to take the product abroad, to make everyone who doesn't get a chance to come over to America, new environments, new fans, new cultures, to take that there, making every single show there feel huge, is a very clever business decision. Because if this show was in a generic American or Canadian town or city or whatever, with 18,000 people, typical sellout, normal pay-per-view, it's a good show, but you aren't getting quite the same buzz. And for me, this will live long in the memory just because the crowd elevated it that little bit more. It gave you that extra 20, 30% that you probably wouldn't have had if this was just a generic show. I think if you were to look at this on paper, if this was an empty arena, you'd say, yeah, all right, not bad. But the crowd just took it to the next level, and it does make you buzzing for Clash, for Berlin, not so much for King of the Ring because, but yeah, business decision, spot on.
It absolutely does. It shows that the crowd affects the show.
Yeah.
If the crowd is dead, then the show is just not. Like, that's why I don't watch New Japan. But the crowd kills it for me. Like, I know they're not allowed. I'm not told by New Japan to just clap and not cheer. But how New Japan wrestlers can perform with the crowd that do that when they're told to do it and not cheer is beyond me. Because you need that. You need the fans to get involved. You want the fans to be booing the heel and cheering the face, or even vice versa, cheering the heel and booing the face.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. And like, I'm just so glad that France got this pay-per-view or premium live event during a time when COVID wasn't about. Because if that had been an empty arena, that would have been, as you say, an average, 5 to 6. But the fact the crowd brought the energy, they brought the heat, they gave the WWE the smoke, and they proved what the rest of Europe are going to have to do now. Is basically they've set the bar for such an arena show, for a premium live event. They've set the bar. It's our time to raise it.
I'm just saying, we're out of the PLE. We got robbed of PLE because of COVID. All I'm saying, again, to my 89 plus followers, and please make it grow. Big things coming up. Help us make it grow. You bring an event to Ireland, you put it in the RDS, we'll show you what a rowdy crowd looks like. We will show you what a rowdy crowd looks like.
And you think too, especially like, I mean, if they bring PLE to Dublin with the Irish roster that they've got on their main show now, how big a reception that they'll get, and how that will affect the show as well.
But the flag's ready for it.
Just you remember, whatever happens for you guys, you'll always be compared and you'll always be in the shadow of Glasgow. Bring it on!
I want Glasgow to show up and show out, because that shows that France, that the UK, and even Ireland are the places to go for rowdy crowds.
Yeah.
If you lads don't show up and show out, Glasgow will be a laughing stock. You don't want that. You don't want Glasgow to be a laughing stock.
I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it again and again. I hope you get a ticket because the two of us would have a laugh. Aaron will be there as well. Rob, if you can get across, I'm so excited, and I just think it's gonna be even better to share it with you guys. I'll try and post some content and whatever, but you're
I'll have a
damn
look
right
at
it's
tickets
gonna be
tomorrow when they
loud.
go up and see if I can afford them. No promises, obviously, but I'll try my best. But
I've
with
got
that being said,
videos. Just quite sorry before you close. I've got videos of ICW Fear and Loathing
I'm not closing
2016.
yet. We still have a bit of time.
Even then, that the recordings that I've got at the
Yeah,
SECC.
German bastards. Sorry to all our German listeners.
Whoa, Jesus.
Sorry to all our German listeners. Dortmund just scored against Paris Saint-Germain, and Paris Saint-Germain are now 2-0 down.
We
So
must cut.
I just for context there, I was not coursing out my German listeners. I have the match on my screen above me,
Bloody hell.
and
Tony
Dortmund
is
have scored and made it 2-0.
Tony is
If you
going to
can't
be
tell, I was
bashed in.
cheering for PSG.
Tony
Yeah.
is going to be bashed in Berlin by the looks of things.
I apologize. I apologize tenfold.
Well, the viewers of the video understand. The listeners are thinking, what the hell is going on here?
They probably
Anyway,
think I'm crazy, so
yeah, that's true. No, the
So-
videos I've got from the SECC when Drew Galloway fought Grado, Rhino was there, Joe Coffey was there, whoever, like the crowd was so
I
hot.
want to get to an ICW event. I just cannot find the time to get to Glasgow.
Well, the thing is, the crowd was so damn hot then. Think about how it's going to be. It's Jesus Christ, right? Like, I'm too excited. Let's move on, please.
So before we
Before I
move on
explode.
and briefly talk about King of the Ring, I want to get you a grades for Backlash. Rob did tell us 9 out of 10, and I said I had a grade and I marked it down, and I've been reasons for marking it down. My grade is an 8, and I took 2 points off, but 1 because the women's tag match went on for 16 minutes longer than it should have, and 2, at Backlash in Puerto Rico, you gave us Carlito. Why in the fuck at Backlash France did we not get Rene Dupree?
Apparently, they were actually spotted in France. Apparently,
You wanted a mega pop. That would have been your mega pop. Imagine if the La Resistance music hit.
La Resistance. Yeah, to be fair, you could have bumped to a 7 because you didn't get Baron Corbin either.
And
at least we're going to get Baron Corbin at Vegas for next year for WrestleMania.
Happy Corbin's back, baby.
So I quite like the idea of doing the ratings. Not gonna lie.
I've been trying to do another post shows, but we get cut off with the chatting and the thing. But I'm gonna try to make it a thing.
It's
It's
been a
part of my plans.
What a smooth run this has been. Like, what a good conversation. I will also be giving it an 8. And
Hey.
the reason it's so strong is because, as many times I've said, the crowd, the match quality, unbelievable. I think, and I do know why they only have 5 matches. It's compact, it's good, but you do then have the issue of the overrunning tag team match, which was quite botchy, was a bit so we maybe we point off that. And I do think you could easily fit in some sort of promo for 10 minutes, give the women tag team 7, even cut some off, whatever the main event. You could give some time back to do something for the French crowd, the same way that you had Bad Bunny at last year's Backlash for Puerto Rico. The same way in Germany, you'll have some German themes going on. There wasn't anything really for the French crowd to pop
German teams, you say.
for. What's that, sorry? German theme in
German
Berlin.
teams, you say.
Yeah, in Berlin. But for the French, their pops was for the entrances, for the matches, the but we didn't get like anything else for them. And I think that's the thing. Like in Scotland, I'm expecting to have some sort of, even for the in the nose, maybe a Grado appearance, something just to for the Glaswegians, for the Scots there potentially. And I just think maybe that could have elevated it that wee bit more. But 8 is a bloody amazing score for such a predictable show. It was a great watch.
Anything else to add to that, Rob? Rob, anything else to add to that before I...
I'm here. I'm here.
What the... What did I do? Rob! Rob, we're live.
We're live,
You
pal.
didn't need to see that, Rob. Rob, nobody needed to see that.
We're live, pal.
I know our weekly controversies, but Christ.
Yeah, nothing really much to add there. Just obviously, as I say, rating, I'd probably stick with a 9. I prefer, like I say, I mean, obviously, yes, the women's match probably lasted a wee bit longer than what it should. Obviously, with a couple of botches here and there, but obviously, like to me, like the crowd, again, I can't, reminisce with the crowd how hot they made Backlash and SmackDown. And that entire week that the WWE were over for a couple of days and things like that. And as I say, I just hope that not just the likes of Glasgow, but I just hope other European countries and cities that are going to host WWE are going to raise the bar each time and show what they're made of. Because France has just put themselves on the map for having a PLE. Now it's Glasgow's turn to make sure that they're going to stick.
Well, like you said, Puerto Rico set the bar, but France, they raised the bar.
And as Seamus would say, we are the bar.
That was a horrendous. Yeah, a pirate. Are you a pirate, so?
I'm not the one who sounds
You could have
like
just,
every
you
word
could have
I
just done it with
speak.
your Scottish accent. Because according to Americans, the Scottish and the Irish have a similar accent.
I get that a lot, weirdly, down here.
So, Backlash is in the review. And as part of this week's episode, we did say we would give early predictions for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. And we got a little taster of what that looks like last night. And Rob, I am trying my hardest here not to spoil shit for you.
It's okay. I'll be watching it very soon.
I really am. But
I've got the results anyway, so I'm fine with that. Do you know what I mean?
Why didn't you say that an hour and 20 minutes ago?
I wanted to sort of, surprise you about that. But
Get covered and chop you next time in Belfast.
There we go. Done sorted.
Don't do what Ryan Healy did and pinch your chest. It bruises. Take a look, man. But anyway, I think the King of the Ring is cater-made for one man and one man only. And that is the Ring General, Gunther.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone can make that work and make it run with it and make it what it once was, it is Gunther. And I don't think me both predictions is a possibility, given that both in the same brackets, but I was hoping for an Ilya Gunther finals in Saudi. But I don't think we're going to get that now, because it looks like that match may happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think and I haven't seen the matches, I've only seen the results, so I'll just let you guys deal with.
Full match for Sheamus and Gunther is on the WWE YouTube. It is fucking brutal. Excuse me, French.
Yeah.
La 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 la. La la la.
Il fremo phenomenal, for sure.
Gone on here French for the summer, lads. Anyone want to join me?
I cannot disagree. I cannot see any man winning the King of the Ring other than Gunther. I can't. I think we're going to get some cracking matches on the way. What I think would be even harder to maybe predict is who's he going to face in the final at the pay-per-view?
Like, has anyone got any idea of the bracket at the moment?
Yeah,
We'll probably get
so
an idea from it.
the SmackDown bracket, SmackDown have yet to have. So we know that Gunther will be going up against either Kofi Kingston or Rey Mysterio, which will be a house show, which I think is quite nice.
Is that in a not a semi-final? I think the semi-finals and finals are in Saudi. Am I not mistaken?
The semi-finals are on Raw and SmackDown 20th, 24th.
Oh, so the finals. So they're not doing it like the old
just
platform.
just the final. So
I see. I was hoping for to go back to the old one down where you have rounds 1 and 2, and then the quarters, semis, and finals be all on.
As nice as it would be, there's other stories. The card itself is already quite stacked. with all the
So
stories that
Gunther is
we
100% in
didn't
the
really
finals
get.
because
Yeah,
Kofi and Mysterio aren't going to stop him.
no. The others you've got in the quarterfinals, Ilya Dragunov will be going up against Jey Uso, which is going to be interesting. So probably setting us up for a
It has to be Ilya. Has to be Ilya. If
But
it,
this,
that's
yeah,
Ilya semi-final, is it? Ilya
yeah,
and well, let me
Ilya.
forget Ilya Gunther in the finals. Okay, set still then. So yeah, I'm
So
going to
you,
say Ilya Gunther in the finals. I'm
you
going to
get
stick
it
to
in the,
me balls
you
prediction.
you would get Ilya and Gunter. They could only meet in the semi-finals. But Ilya has to go over Jay. What we haven't seen is anyone past the first round in SmackDown's bracket yet. And SmackDown's bracket is as follows. So the winner of the Raw tournament will face the winner of the SmackDown tournament in the final in Saudi. And therefore, I think we're all agreed Gunter will win the Raw bracket, will go all the way to the final, unless maybe Ilya does go over, but I doubt it. SmackDown will look like this. It is AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Oh, that's a very watchable match. That is.
Baron Corbin against Carmelo Hayes.
Mm.
You have, with everybody saying it, LA
L.A.
Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go one-on-one with Santos Escobar.
Mm.
And the final match of the first round is Bobby Lashley against Tama Tonga. So that
And is the
does
first round to go into the quarters or the semis? Or are
the
we doing
first
the
round.
quarter, semis, and finals?
So following that, the way that the brackets are, the winner of AJ versus Orton will face the winner of Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, and the winner of LA Knight versus Santos Escobar will face the winner of Bobby Lashley or Tama Tonga. So ultimately, from that, it will look like the final could potentially. I'm struggling. I can't pick a name. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Baron Corbin, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Bobby Lashley, Tama Tonga. One of them will face Gunther in the final. Somebody else pick one, because I'm struggling.
Oh, it's
Yeah, no, I
tough.
didn't realize there was that many talented wrestlers in the.
Yeah, it's really hard to sort of just nail on one. But
So then,
Who,
is it going to
who's doing
end
the
with?
job?
Is it going to end with a SmackDown wrestler versus a Raw wrestler in the finals?
Yes.
it's looking like that.
Um,
It has to, yeah. The
so
way the brackets
so
are.
basically, what we need to figure out is who is Gunther facing in the finals? Who makes the match for Gunther in the finals?
Exactly. Which SmackDown superstar from the list I've just gave you?
And the thing about it
I
is,
think
it has to
again,
be.
there's only one person I can think of that you can put in. You're putting Gunther, a mega heel, against someone who is a mega face,
So, well, you've got Gunther, the
and
mega
that's
heel.
somebody. There's only one somebody that hits that criteria, and once
He's
again, with everybody saying L
L.A.
A
Hey,
Knight.
Knight.
yeah.
Because he is the megastar who will main event King of the Ring with Gunther, and that will be your main event
But
for the finals.
it looks like we're in for a very entertaining couple of weeks with the matches that are lined up,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
especially on the men's side.
I don't want that though.
What are
Okay.
you thinking? Because we know Gunther's in the finals regardless. I cannot
Yeah,
see any other way than
100%.
Gunther being in the finals.
100%. I would have liked to see Orton go all the way because I
Orton
think
Gunther.
but
But I think there's going to be
remember
bloodline shenanigans again with Orton,
that's the
especially
thing.
with Orton and the.
LA Knight's the only one here of the candidates, the credible candidates probably, who isn't wrapped up with anything at the moment. And I don't think LA Knight can go to the final and lose. That's my thought. He will if he's in the final. Gunther's going
But then you
over,
have to
which
have
is
him lose before the final. So we not lose more of his momentum losing in a match that's not the final as regards to having a hell of a match with Gunther and then just falling short, rather than going
no.
into his first round match or his quarter final match and dropping the ball there.
Well,
the only
that's the
one.
thing. I don't think that LA Knight makes it to the final because I think that LA Knight will have a feud going forward, hopefully, with
Are they going to keep
Santos
with the AJ thing, Eddie? Oh, with Santos?
Oh,
with Santos Escobar. They have a match. Santos has the what are they called?
The God
Les,
of Del Fantasma.
Thank you.
Les Galdado felt
So-
blah, blah, blah.
So will hopefully get involved, so LA Knight doesn't have to have a massive loss against Gunther, which wouldn't be great.
Mm.
I actually think the match we might get in the final, I could see Bobby Lashley making it there, because Saudi always seems to get a big Bobby match, and Bobby Lashley's a big enough name to build up that makes Gunther look good. It's probably a decent enough match to watch. Somehow that could be something we may see, but then again, I'm booking myself for a corner because Bobby Lashley versus Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga must go over. Unless, like, how does he lose that? Oh, this is so hard. I can't think of the name. You're probably right with LA Knight. I just don't want to see it because I don't want to see LA Knight lose another big match. That's it. That's where I'm at.
But this is the thing. So I mean, we're all thinking that Gunther's going to go on to win the King of the Ring, and if it is going to be against LA Knight, but obviously LA Knight wouldn't win by somebody interfering and attacking Gunther, because that's not going to happen. But it would just be interesting. You've got AJ Styles there still against Orton, which I think is going to be a hell of a match as well. But don't rule out Carmelo Hayes in this as well, because he could be the one that could actually go up against Gunther, okay, and then take a loss in the first King of the Ring, because an up and comer
after all.
And the thing about Carmelo Hayes is he doesn't miss, so him against Gunther in a final for King of the Ring could be.
I keep hearing this. LA can't take another loss. It's all part of the plan to build them up and give them that big win in Cleveland at SummerSlam when it's megastar against megastar. We know that's where they're heading. We know it's going to be LA versus Logan in Cleveland, where I assume Logan gets his ass kicked and LA wins. They're just building towards that. The momentum stays with LA as long as he has matches to keep that momentum, and as long as he cuts promos every week.
But I'm struggling with the winner.
I think we're all struggling with them brackets.
What about
we're struggling with that? When we're struggling with them brackets, as Mark, as I cut them off so rudely, about to say, let's shift to the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, my man.
And have a look at those brackets. And we know so far, Lyra has advanced, Io has advanced, Zoe Stark has advanced, and did Maxine Dupree advance as well?
No, so I hate to say it, but we actually don't have the SmackDown brackets yet. We only have Io in the quarterfinals.
We only have to,
and Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Starks in the quarterfinals. So if you are going to pick someone from SmackDown, you're going to have to just randomly pick one out of the thin air because we don't have it yet.
We know on SmackDown that you have Naomi. You have Nia. You'll probably have Tiffany Stratton if she's not feuding with Bayley. Who else have we got on SmackDown at the moment? Chelsea Green. Actually, fuck it. Give Chelsea Green Queen of the Ring. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just that Chelsea Green with the whole thing. I think she could really make that work, Mick.
Yeah, I think she would. I think she would work it well, more so than Tiffany, in the sense of the fact that if Tiffany's going to get the Money in the Bank briefcase, which we all predict, I would imagine that she will get it this year.
So I assume Tiffany won't be in the brackets just to protect Tiffany from a severe loss.
Yeah, because you don't want to take that momentum that she's got, even though going into that, that she'll.
What I would do there is I would have Tiffany come out and cut a promo saying, "I don't need to be in the Queen of the Ring because I'm already a queen."
Yeah.
Could Charlotte return? Is Charlotte clear to return? Could Charlotte be in the brackets? She is, after all, the self-professed queen of WWE. So it seems like a tournament Kate are made for the queen.
I'm not sure she's cleared to return yet. That's the thing. I don't.
Yeah, or not if you really did it again. I think they gave her 9 months to a year and a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it was,
Would be the first time a wrestler came back after 4 months and surprised everyone with an early scare.
That's very, very true. Very, very true.
I think I like it though, because last year we knew out straight who was in the brackets, who was going to win what. It was predictable, but this year you don't know what to expect.
But that's good. That's a good thing.
That's what, growing up and watching the King of the Ring back in the 90s before we had the Queen of the Ring, was the King of the Ring. It was you had unpredictability as well.
Yeah.
And then they give you the centre field winners as well, which you weren't expecting.
Yeah, like for the prediction side of things and stuff like that, it's so like, I mean, obviously, like not being able to predict someone straight off, that's not a bad thing. That is a good thing.
Yeah, it makes a big
Hey,
difference to from the pay-per-view we've just been discussing.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I think when we actually get the full match card and we know who's fighting Gunter and fighting for the Queen of the Ring in the final, it may be more predictable because
but I
the
mean,
other two matches on the card are already fairly predictable.
on top of that, I think we should also point out something else that's really big and should be pointed out. We went from being in Saudi Arabia, and it is Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Yeah,
And having these shows where it was just the men showcasing their talent, the struggling to get the women on the card, to now having a show where we're struggling to get the men on the card because the women seem to be taking the matches. Like they have their own tournament in Saudi, a Queen of the Ring tournament in Saudi Arabia. That's fucking huge. That
yep, and
like
it's one of
you went from
two.
struggling to get one match to getting what we're talking about, at least a potential for 4 women matches with one already announced, Becky versus Liv.
Exactly. Well, you'll only get the final of the Queen of the Ring in Saudi,
Plus
but
whoever
even
Bailey's
then,
gone against. You're getting three, but that's still big 3 women's matches
you
on
might
a
not get.
on a
I
on
doubt
an
you'll
event
get
where we
Bailey.
struggle to get one.
I doubt you'll get Bailey. I think they'll tell like they're telling half the stories at one pay-per-view and half the stories at the other. I think Bailey will be in Glasgow. I think it'll probably just be Becky. It'll be the Intercontinental, maybe a US title because we didn't get that at Backlash either. But
Oh,
either
we know
way,
Logan's going to
that's
be in Saudi's huge already.
exactly. Plus, that's two women's matches and fair fucks to them. Like that is quality considering they weren't allowed to wrestle over there not so long ago. Fair play. It's still sports washing though. It still makes me sick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we pretty much gave early predictions that Gunther's going to be king of the ring. Are we able to put a prediction on the women's, or is that going to have to be a to be continued prediction?
For me, it would have to be to be continued prediction because we're not with, especially with not knowing what the SmackDown side of things are going to look at. I can see Lyra getting to the final. I'd love to see Lyra get to the final. I'd
I
love
think
it.
they could do really. She could really do well running with a Queen gimmick, especially given that she's channeled Irish folklore for a gimmick.
Yeah,
You know, the way Sheamus did when he did his whole Finn McHugh or Finn. I could not Finn Cullen. He did the whole Cullen thing in the ring gimmick.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
again, but again, I think I'm on the same fence as you. I think I have to wait till I see your bracket before I make a bold prediction.
slightly
But I
too
would love
soon.
to see Lyra get that chance because she deserves that and she's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Mark, what's your thoughts? Are you on the same boat as us at the
I
minute?
think so. Without seeing the SmackDown, the SmackDown bracket, I think it's too difficult. I think the winner does come from SmackDown though. That's why it's more difficult.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they're
That
trying
makes
to
sense
sort of.
because if a Raw superstar is winning King, then a SmackDown superstar has to win Queen.
Yeah,
And I'm struggling to think of who that could be.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see because I would imagine we will find out this Friday night on SmackDown when SmackDown emanates from whatever it emanates from, this Friday. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up for another week of weekly controversies. That may be episode 18 in the bag, but I think Rob wants my attention. But Rob, don't worry, I can't tell it, I can't say we're officially wrapped up because you are the man taking us home tonight. So if you want final words, it was going to be yours anyway. What have you got to say, Rob?
Thanks very much. So we haven't really brought this up too much. Now, I don't know if there's a reason for it, but it's something that I thought it would just bring to the attention of the viewers and the listeners. The Nightbird campaign, which has been shown on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, with the potential return or debut of a Wyatt 6. What are your thoughts on that, Fitz?
I've seen a lot of guesses, a lot of
Mm.
assuming and fake sources saying that this is the confirmed lineup of what it could and couldn't be. Like, we know Ball was going to be the leader. I assume Alexa will have some sort of play in it. Eric Rowan is apparently signing back with them. Braun's apparently going to be part of it. Joe Gacy is apparently going to be part of it. But there's also teasers of Nikki Cross being a part of it. So it's anyone's guess. There was a code last night for it, I think, like a number code last night for it on Raw. I don't know if any is broke that or seen if any of the YouTubers or Instagrammers broke it. But that was the latest QR code. It was like a puzzle.
Okay. Because I know obviously the Backlash one they had was like it was a QR code which led to a number, I think, which led to obviously like 2 videos playing or 2 audio clips playing, and that one was talking about about a sheep or a shepherd lost a sheep type of thing, and which could potentially be talking about Eric Rowan because he did, or Braun Strowman for that matter, because they were the ones that had the sheep masks for whenever Bray had them as his Wyatt family back in the day. But I'm really digging it. I really enjoy those kind of, spooky, like kind of like promo videos, packages type of thing, and that, because it gives that, for me, it gives that extra element of like, okay, yes, we know it's reminiscent to what Bray done and things like that, and I'm okay with that. And if it's Bo coming back, as Uncle Howdy type of thing and that, then yeah, all for it. Don't mind that at all.
Wonder when that happens, or when do they pull the trigger on, or when do
Well,
the
that's the thing. We
sick
never
hit?
know. We don't know.
No.
Survivor Series against the Bloodline. Don't know. For me, right, I actually like this as well, but not as much as you guys. I didn't ever really love the Wyatt family stuff. I didn't love a lot of I think maybe just because they always ended up burying Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and a lot of what went on. I think that's down to Vince rather than Triple H. And hopefully, I mean, even when Triple H brought Bray back, it just didn't quite work. It had so much potential, but didn't go anywhere. But I also like horror as much as Tony. However, I don't really like horror with my wrestling, and I'm a bit like, oh, this is a
But
bit.
it's been around with the wrestling since like the 90s. You
Yeah,
had
but
like
like
the Taker gimmick,
I'm
you've had the Sting
avoiding.
gimmick. It didn't really tend to be horrible. It was based on the Crow. Pain. I mean, it worked if it's done right.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
I
proven to work if it's done right.
I just like avoiding these weird, like some of these videos from the QR codes are actually kind of like creepy for me. But what I, you know,
But the way it's very creepy, they were a cult-like family.
but in just to contrast what I'm about to say, or contradict myself, I love the little tidbits that we're getting, the little teasers, the things that you have to look out for, the things you only notice because someone on Twitter posted it saying, "Oh, did you guys see this?" That's cool. The QR codes are slightly in your face now. They never used to be. The little glitches were a bit of a tease, and that's a small enough tease. We're getting a wee bit more fed to us now, but smaller things that's been done that I'm like, yeah, brilliant. Um, such as Liv Morgan having Dominic Mysterio's headband in her pocket last night, which it was slightly hanging out. Things like that. Um, Other things like the background, conversations that are going on in the background. Like a few weeks ago, it was Drew talking to Heyman, I think. Stuff like that, just teasing you with where they're maybe going to go next week. It's far less in your face. It's far more out of the picture, and it's again another layer to creative storytelling, which we have not seen in a long time. The QR codes themselves, slightly more in your face. I'm intrigued, but I'm kind of worn out and have been by the Wyatt family stuff for a while. Like, again, they never go over with me, even though I wanted to. I just don't know. I hope that they do. they do Bray proud and do him justice with whatever they do. That's all. I don't know
Yeah.
what it will look like.
Yeah, well, I think they will do him just because obviously with Bo, because obviously we've seen how much Bray had meant to him and the rest of his family and that, and I think, as I say, with that being said, I think Bo will take this not just with a pinch of salt, but he'll take this with a freaking with everything he's got to get into this, because, like, as I say, this is his now. Yes, it was Bray's, but now this is being passed on to him now. It's his to take over. It's his to run with, and I think he will run with it very, very well. And I can't wait for it. I honestly thought it was going to happen a backlash. I really did, because of the last video that I seen before that had the France flag type of thing, and I thought to myself, oh, they're going to do something here, but I think something wasn't ready in time. But if you look at some of the videos and some of the QR codes and things like that, the date does read 25th of May, which is King and Queen of the Ring, which kind of would make sense for a debut of them there.
And
I
it's
love the
also
evolved dates in May.
yeah, it's also
'cause
6 days after May 19th.
I was just about to point that out. It's usually the time of the year everyone runs in Hyatt, because it's Kane's most hated date of the year, May 19th.
One of my
I
favorite
don't know. I think
stories.
debuting the Wyatt 6 in Saudi is a mistake, because you won't get the desired pop that you want.
No,
Because
they should have just
don't generally pop.
they should have done it on the 15th of June.
Still can. Maybe they'll just drop another teaser in Saudi. Maybe they won't.
No, because you're wanting me to be hot. You want the crowd to be hot, and I'll be like, I'm confused because I never really got the Wyatt stuff. That'll
Yes,
be,
you've
I
got
don't
a
know.
teaser.
Aaron
Yeah,
will
you
be
my
going
gosh.
mental beside me. He'll be going absolutely nuts, and I'll be like, yay,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you get to save you get to save all that anger and all that energy for when Drew gets screwed out of the title with CM Punk.
See if the fucking Wyatts are led by CM Punk. And they come and screw. I'm telling you something. I'm never watching again.
Then you can't come on the show.
I will give up, and I will be pure AEW, and you'll see me.
AEW
Chant-
don't last much longer, kid.
I know. I'm gonna need something to watch.
You heard
Maybe
here
I will.
first, folks.
Maybe I
Marcus
will.
is retiring from wrestling if the Wyatts and CM Punk screw Drew in Glasgow.
Exactly. I will retire, and I will be seen in Japan, politely clapping in the crowds of New Japan Pro Wrestling for the baby faces and the heels. And I'll give you a wave, Tony. Good point, though, Rob. I like discussing that. We haven't discussed it at all.
We'll be able to, obviously, we were short in time tonight to go deep into it. We'll keep on it, keep looking at the puzzles. We'll make Rob our puzzle breaker, our marker puzzle breaker for when the QR codes pop up, and you can tell us what you find each and every week.
Yeah, because there's going to be QR codes added to the weekly controversies that are going to pop up left, right, and center, and you won't know what's behind them.
It'll just be
God.
Tony eating that humble pie.
It'll just be
I
Tony's
bet that humble
t-shirt
pie.
with Cody Rhodes.
I have eaten that humble pie. I've eaten that humble pie more than I have to.
But folks, everyone all good on what we've been discussing so far?
Definitely.
We're all good. We're all
fun.
discussed out, I think, at this point.
Take us home, Rob.
Well, folks, as always, we have been the Weekly Controversies. This is episode 18. You can find this episode on the on the FiveMarks Weekly Controversies YouTube channel and wherever else you get your podcast. 6 p.m. GMT Friday. It airs, and I have been Rob Gold. This has been my co-host Tony, and this has been Mr. Mark Goldberg. Thank you very much for joining us for another week.
Goldberg.
I'm gonna get you guys chanting that every week.
Goldberg.
He has to have his...
sparklers for you. We get sparklers for you when we're outside the stadium in Glasgow, and you can do the Gilbert and meet the Goldberg entrance.
He has to have 6 security members with him every time he's walking around.